high up into the rafters, firing all the way, but everybody blinded up and they are being eviscerated. Just to try to push him back and allow here Cryo with no dash to land the first kill. Close range in the dome.
Well, what do we have here, folks? After a pretty one-sided first map, we see G2 upset 100 Thieves on their best map. Crazy stuff. 100 Thieves got out of the gates very fast, but we kind of talked about it at the halftime break, right? Slowed the game down a little bit, but the clutch factor for G2, that was something else.
There was even a few rounds in, EU was hot mic'd, and he's like, dude, we're just way too good for these guys. There's something along those lines, and then from that point out, things got a lot more scrappy for them and crazy from G2. Would have never expected this after what happened on Ascent. Their pick that was so one-sided for 100 Thieves.
The thing I was most impressed with in this second half was how G2 was dealing with these 100 Thieves flood retakes, that they're normally so good at winning out over and over again. I think they had a great understanding of, in their execute, to save enough util to pause and have that second wave to counter out the 100 Thieves util and be able to further the fight and not get overwhelmed by this double initiator flood that's been so good previous for 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves is yet to win a retake this series, which is crazy to think about.
I mean, I think a big point that we talked about at the halftime is G2 abused showers really hard. They kind of showed the gap that 100 Thieves has on this map.
Right, but you said 100 Thieves are normally happy to leave it, and they kind of like play around that gap. But here they were not able to really get away with that at all.
I would say the biggest difference is G2 was sending like 3 or 4 people out of showers, and teams in the past sent 1 or 2 out showers and like 2-2. So usually 100 Thieves would end up getting the kills on the short guys, so it would end up being like a 5v3 for instance. But in this situation, they never really got the chance. They would just go off 4 out showers and win the post line.
Yeah, Valorant I think also calls a lot more contact plays than a lot of other IGLs in the league. He tends to play a lot of these super slow rounds that I feel like did a good job of punishing 100 Thieves. They have a lot of these like proactive re-clear ideas, but early in that half, G2 was doing a good job at shutting those ideas down and then kind of taking that pause, hitting these sites late. So despite the comp for 100 Thieves, it felt like they were pretty starved for info in the second half.
Valorant as well just had a huge step-up map individually, which he does really often. I mean, in the league right now, he's in the top 2 fragging IGLs. It's him and King, and he's at least good for one of these maps every series where he's going to actually just also step up and be the guy for the team. He was really popping off late in that second half.
I feel like we've had an astonishing number of just clutch rounds in general from G2 on that second half. It feels like even in shorthanded scenarios, they're winning 2v3s. You know, they're winning 1v2s on so many occasions where we're often seeing Bang rotating late to a site in a post plan. He can't get away with exactly what G2 are able to pull off. He's often 1v2 and just gets traded.
I think G2 did a good job at not really giving Bang fights, or anybody in post plans, they would take the fight together, which I think is something they've really excelled at in playoffs so far.
Yeah, it's really reminiscent of that Crew series, right? Where they also did a great job of, when they're in these post plants, playing together, swinging together, have a really coordinated idea of what they're doing, even in those late rounds, where other times teams are getting kind of dragged into the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to get into map 3 here, though, on Split, where I think I've heard a lot of very binary takes on 100 Thieves comp. A lot of people seem to either like it or hate it. Where do you kind of fall with this, Vanity, where they're playing that no Sentinel, Cryo, Astra, hard B anchor setup?
It's very abusable. I think it's definitely one of their weak points in the map pool currently. I think they've shown decent results on it, but it's been relatively inconsistent throughout the split.
What do you think about the comp this week?
I think they kind of need to overload the A site to deny the Viper lurk or the Cypher lurk for whichever it tends to be there. But in their last matches, they've been having the missed timings of it. The earlier games, they were having a really good time at shutting in the lurker, but on the last 2 or 3 times they've played it, it's been not as good.
Yeah, and I think that's tough too, because we've seen a G2 who's, I think, really good at playing those slow rounds, getting a player like Trent embedded and making advantage of those gaps like you were highlighting on that second map of Bind with Showers Control.
Every single one of us that were able to voted for 100 Thieves winning this series. I know we're bringing it back here. Is that result now under great scrutiny? Is there a deal of questioning?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, winning Bind is crazy.
Yes.
Again, especially just after how dominant 100 Thieves were on map 1. So, yes, it is under scrutiny, but I still believe in 100 Thieves. I will stick with my prediction, though G2 have just been massively impressive in this playoffs, just defying expectations.
They're finding their peak at the perfect moment. Remember, they only made it to this point, beating out Sentinels to qualify by playoffs by winning 2 more rounds than they needed to. They lost that series G2 rounds to even get into this position, and then it's been close game after close game. Then they go in, they beat Crew, stop them, and now they're coming into this matchup and have a real chance to upset the team that most people were looking at as a front runner. For this Ascension team in their first year in Americas, this is an incredible opportunity as we hop into the agent select for map 3.
See the Breach fade come up here for G2. A couple teams, of course, still opting over towards the Breach.
Yeah,
the
that's
fade.
different from last time. Yeah, I believe last time it was solo Breach.
Solo
It's the
Breach
only
with Cypher.
initiator, yeah. So that is a bit of a mix-up. And I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this Cryo Astra on the B site. He's been in such excellent form, but a lot of times he gets caught there. It's hard for him to get out. And I think his play there is going to be crucial for them actually racking up rounds on that half.
I think G2 is going to run a Cryo.
You think they're just going to
they're going to run a Cryo. Yeah.
I definitely think it's possible.
He's been good for it, though. That guy's been sick on the anchor. It's a lot of pressure on 100 Thieves here as the favorite to try and recover this series.
And a big advantage going into our playoff grand finals on the line here. G2 have taken away 100 Thieves' very best map and look to put even more pressure on them as we head over to Split. One last time, let's head back over to Bren in Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, don't ask me what the expected outcome is of this last map, honestly, because already this series is delivering in unexpected ways. We're heading to Split, and I've got my opinions on the 100 Thieves Split comp. You've got your opinions. We're divided on it, actually. We're having a bit of a couple spat, and we'll go get therapy later for it. But yeah, we have our opinions on it, but I really don't know which direction this is going to go into anymore, because G2 have gone from strength to strength for me. I think Valen has really been tested in his capacity as an IGL in terms of how he's adapting to what the team has been doing against him, what 100 Thieves have been throwing at them, and honestly, he's been coming up with the goods.
And when you think about which team is able to anti more heading into this final map, it's definitely Valen, right? Because 100 Thieves, we've seen this from them many times on Split so far. We know that they love doing these 4-1 defaults on their attack side. Cryo is able to hard lurk, really, really late lurk on the Astra. These are the kind of tendencies that you can exploit. And Trent, he gets the opener with just spam through the wall there.
Yeah, just praying that he maybe catches on to a lurking player. It's a fault line to refight. Cut off.
Down A.
Orb was propped up here, but a spike's been dropped down into no man's land. I mean, how do you regain this one? Stars have to be used to pull and a wall up. Regaining control of this one here, just rattling the bullets back and forth.
Yeah, this one's a little bit of an unlucky kind of go next scenario.
There.
You know, you'll make the best situation out of it. Try to create a win. But G2 are great in these spots at not giving up, you know, free peaks. They really force you to win the round and create the advantage.
You can see that just from the amount of respect. I mean, you could just draw a line throughout the back of the site, the entirety of the map. Position the G2 are holding. They're here to drop down, though. So Jonah P, now with a plan acknowledged.
Yeah, and all of that respect is going to give them the plant. So now the time working against G2.
But to Cryo, I think, to be a bit of a playmaker. There's no way in Astral form. Bullets is going right underneath him. That seize is monstrous. It's about how these kills come through.
None.
That is a ghost moment if I've ever seen one. Another flood through. Out of the smoke. Fearless. Bang. Attempting to adjust. Makes a decent go of Thieves.
But a pretty perfect pistol round to start off for G2. Starting out with a read and just a bit of lucky crosshair placement as Trent picks up the first. And then dismantling the rest of what 100 Thieves were trying to do up towards ramp.
Wow.
That's tough. Good stun afterwards, though, as well. You know, getting value out of Jonah P's utility there. As that stun line came all the way down ramps. And that's the thing. On this map, one of the things that I think a lot of the desk focus was talking about 100 Thieves on their defense side, where you can run at Cryo, and it feels like the B site's a bit of a weakness for them. But on the attack side too, 100 Thieves love to group up. They actually deathball around the map with 4, sometimes 5 players, and they've only really got one person in another spot. That is so exploitative.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can exploit that really easily by, for example, on that pistol round where Jonah P walked down mid and was able to get a stun across a different latitude just because he knows it's going to be safe.
Probably facing that position here with a nade into the corner. Quick hops. Up and around. But you're right. There's a lot to exploit if you've been doing your homework and you're at least aware of it, and they're aware of bang. Just hoping to make something happen up towards the ramp angle.
Yeah, and I think that's already showing you that good awareness.
Yeah.
Asuna gets taken out as the final player, but the way that 100 Thieves play on this map, they always have somebody, almost always have somebody hard lurking, and it's either bang over towards A, or it's cryo towards B, or often, more often, towards mid. And cryo's really, really late, whereas bang tends to be a bit more aggro. And listen, if I know this from watching the VODs, you guarantee that G2, who have been putting in the work,
Jacob's son?
they're going to know that as well.
What was that at the end?
That's his honorific.
Okay.
You must refer to him as that.
I will not be doing that. Let's get into the bonus round.
So stun, take control, easy ult orb, and Icy gets the showstopper. 100 Thieves take a bit of mid control, and Valen's going to maintain posting and all of that information over towards B main.
A lot of noise being made.
Yeah, but nobody really in position to hear that.
At least Leaf spotting it out. So, now no to the Prowler, giving them side control. G2 understanding the strengths really of how you really want to play this one. They haven't given up heaven control. And now seeking to actually refight potentially over ramp. They send the Prowler forward as this plan is going down.
And this is one of those rounds where you're worried about where is Cryo. I mean, look at what Valen is up to over here. He's literally waiting for Cryo to walk up mid. He doesn't realize this is one of the few rounds where the Astra's not in a lurk.
I'll send it forwards now. Showstopper in the hands of Icy. Satchels through and around. Finds it. Asuna will drop him though. To the other side of things. Lovely dodge and a flash here. And a refight contestation. 100 Thieves calling it all the right timings. Regaining that heaven position and control. Plenty of bullets left for Trent to work with here, but with the pull, no chance, no possibility anymore.
Got to be kidding.
It's ticking away. All the win cons dropped. That's the power of this 100 Thieves composition. If you don't root out a player like Cryo, you'll be able to just stall it out in the long term with all that utility.
Yep. But here's the question. They don't know that Valen was looking for Cryo the whole round.
Yeah.
100 Thieves were on A. They have no way of knowing that Valen was aware of that. Does 100 Thieves proactively, preemptively stop going for those lurks, thinking that G2 might punish them, or are we actually going to see that game plan rewarded later on down the line? Here we see our first big rifle round. Previously, there was a stun over in this area, and they took B main control on defense. This time, it's only Valen home towards B, though he will have snake bites thrown in from Leaf if it goes into a B pop.
Very little noise being made though.
And it's a very weak site on defense at the moment.
It's the way Split goes on the defense side. You end up playing retake more often than not. Smoke drop just based off the feelings of the getting that this is coming through. I mean, spam down and spray down. The orb is delayed. So Valen, he could take that sideline. Heaven wasn't smoked off. Asuna seeks to just even out the exchange. Will do so successfully. Already retreating now to a bit of a deep tuck position.
Here.
Nade, paranoia. Lots of fade utility available.
Clear this. The nade is going to miss him though. Just tucks it behind as well. And then on the Weiser! Right from the side. He is blinded up. Flashed up. But it matters not. 100 Thieves. Real great idea of how they wanted to just stunt that one when that push was coming through.
They got into great post-line positions. Even though they lost a player early on, and you're right, that smoke came late, that's all deliberate because they don't want to tell that they're about to hit the B site. The thing that they're trying to avoid there is, you know, if they place down a star or if you see that orb being thrown, it just telegraphs. We are going B. So you just know that hit's coming through. So they're trying to make sure that those kind of signals are not being sent over to the defenders.
Yeah.
And they get into a good post-man position because of it.
Pulling that line out when I'm mid-sip of a drink.
Sana.
Trying to get me to spit it up all over the monitor.
We are planning to go B. Stop. We're hoping to have a good post-plan. Stop. Cryo will be playing post-plan with his pull.
100 Thieves in this scenario. This is what was throwing them for a loop a little bit. They've gained the advantage when it comes to the economy, but
Find you.
expecting proactive plays from G2 when they're on the weaker buys. They hold for the time being, and they lose the first 45 seconds.
You can see that Valen's actually putting a pretty large premium on getting info over towards B main, and that's allowing them to get these kind of stack setups going over on A. A jiggle peek from Jonah P, although he's actually holding it with the Marshall, but once he takes one shot with the Marshall, he can drop off, fault line.
Yeah, exactly that. Sends a flying stun. minor connection, at least going to be pushing him back and away. Jonah P, be aware of this. Bullets are suddenly flying through here, and they do clean up the available players that were there just trying to contest and tango towards the ramp angle.
And honestly, these are good setups that could get them value on rifle rounds, but when the economy is bad here for G2, 100 Thieves are running them over. That was a two-player fight over towards ramp. If those G2 players have rifles and they get into a spot like that, I think they've got great chances of pulling around some defense rounds. But unfortunately, 100 Thieves are not opting into these kind of setups when things are even. They're building up a ridiculous ult bank. They're about to come into the next with 4 out of 5 ults online. And 3 of them are to help them take space on a site. Nightfall, Showstopper, Thrash. These are all used to put pressure onto the defending players. I think this is going to be very tough for G2 to hold on. And 100 Thieves only really need to use one of them, and then they've got another for post-plan.
Yeah, already setting it up with the lineups.
And again, have a look at how few tells 100 Thieves are going to try to use here. They're making it feel like it's going through mid, Nightfall, Smoke.
Oh, that's so many connections. They're not going to be able to hear anything that this is at least colliding.
Yeah, instead they're
straight to the B side.
Welcome to my world.
Pit drop down after strike. That should delay the plant. On with a Nightfall. It's a fast flood attempt. Ready to trail. Point them in the right direction, but Icy is detained in the process. Bullets flying, and it comes down to chance. Flip of a coin almost. But that flood, successful tale has been woven for G2. Put themselves in a position. Look at that smoke as well, Valen. Again, similar plays that we're seeing. I mean, just sends it sky high, so it gives him just a little spot on the legs, enough to spray down finish.
Has monumental confidence there, but also, how on earth does Jonah P get that level of value? He killed one with the aftershock. The aftershock was only to deny the plant from coming through, and somehow got the kill. And then, with the last bullet before he got detained, he somehow got a second.
Oh, Cryo steps into it for a second.
I think that's just his vision being obscured by the pit.
Yeah.
Bit of anti-synergy there from 100 Thieves, and they lose the big round that they invested all of those ults for. A fast A-pot. Again, we're not seeing that classic lurk play.
Not to be deterred, are they? Oh my god, the bullets are going crazy right now. And so is Asuna. Sends it straight to them, at least with a showstopper. Still holding the angle here with a nade rebound and a follow-up and follow-through. 100 Thieves. This is basically a 5-second beginning and end for the entirety of that round.
Yeah, excellent work as well with it. When you're not using Cryo on the hard lurk through mid, that gives you an extra player to do stuff like that, to fight ramp off the back of Asuna's distraction. I think this is a really good audible here. Fight up inside that smoke with the showstopper and then push up ramp. These players are perfectly happy to play those spots as a more passive situation as well, and just dual ramp when G2 bring it to them, but that aggressive component's lovely. And 100 Thieves might just want to run it back again. Same setup.
So well. They had nothing to stop it, but this time anchoring players. What are they going to do to prevent it? Timing it, at least with the dash in. The Dizzy. It's G2 seeking a flood defense. This one working out for them. Taking gambles here onto the half by smokes, dropping and fading. The cut noise called by 100 Thieves. This time might be able to pave their way to a victory, at least into this round. Damage is definitely done though. Look at Boostio. Slight breeze will bring him down. The players are still stacked up. G2 not budging.
No, they're really expecting this to be a re-hit, and they are completely correct. It's a great read.
You are divided.
That's quite a nice one. It's going to allow them an avenue to get through.
Spike down.
And you said a light breeze would bring down Boostio. How about an acid pool at his feet?
Doing the damage there. Leaf holding it close. The tap. Cryo seeking for them to push past and through this own cosmic divide. But honestly, Valen can't really hear anything at all. Plant now committed and stuck by Cryo. Getting into it now. Taking a fight straight to him. But the IGL dropped. Leaf now matters into his own hands, but surely accounted for. Not quite. Run and gun drive by. Wins it out now. 4-4 here in terms of the rounds.
You heard Vanity mention it, talking about Bind, actually, where he was saying Boostio's style of IGLing, he loves to run something until you prove that you can stop it. Well, they had a rifle v rifle round where they sent it into A, and then on the anti-eco, he decided to call the same thing. And this time, Valen stacked aside and got there into a spot where he could get the kill onto Asuna before he got hit by the Dizzy. And that makes all the difference.
I'll find you.
Heavy reads coming out.
I died, bro. He mollied.
Nothing on my eye. Nothing on my eye.
Yeah, I don't think anything.
Not anticipated that one.
No.
Icy has picked up the operator, so they're going for a kind of bait and switch setup in mid.
I don't know how much value this is really going to get. I mean, 100 Thieves haven't been putting much attention on mid, to be honest.
No, if anything, they've just been faking it with EU's utility, and EU does end up falling to it.
It's spoken into existence.
But now,
Oh, VALORANT.
B is still quite weak here.
There's a timing.
Poison's off.
Leaf's trying to cover that timing.
But he gets out
Util.
Util. Yep, Util in their hands. Dashing forwards. At least with the satchels. Blinded up.
Down B.
Asuna, all the senses cut away. And lives on top of it.
Really nice round there from G2. Adding another layer into what they were doing over towards mid. And still, honestly, this B site looks like it should be a little weak, but the way that Valen and Leaf are playing it, they're just on top of all of these little pops in.
Yeah.
The snakebite timing could not have been better there. I mean, Leaf had his crosshair placed on it and pulled out Util. I thought he might have got timing, then Asuna could get a shot onto him, but both of those players vulnerable. Valen's able to pick up one of them.
30 seconds left.
It looks very difficult for 100 Thieves to be able to get into sites if G2 actually have players hard anchoring. And that shouldn't really be the case against 100 Thieves.
Spike down B.
They have a lot of firepower, at least to brute force their way into these site hits. So yeah,
10
shouldn't be getting
seconds
deterred
left.
so easily.
I mean, having said this, even if they managed to muscle their way past Valen or Leaf, Icy was coming through with a showstopper afterwards.
Yeah.
Didn't end up being that relevant, to be honest, but it would have been if that first line of defense had fallen. And G2 get up to 5.
A lead.
We were expecting this final map to be anybody's game. That's what I said at the end of Bind. It felt like Ascent was a must-win for G2 because we'd seen such a spectacular record from 100 Thieves on Bind. It looked untouchable. But with that assumption being incorrect, the game is just broken wide open for anyone to take.
Yeah, and I might even flip it on its head as well and make the claim that 100 Thieves need a strong start here onto this attack side rounds. They haven't shown that they've got it in them, I think, for the retakes.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when they get onto the defensive half? I think they need a strong beginning here on their own attack side. Fast ramp take.
But a fake. They're trying to draw people over towards A. Boostio's called them to make noise, make it feel like Asuna's taking this position. And you can see that that's just opened up the B site.
Pulled them off and away here. There's still Heaven players, G2. A few bullets rattled and fired across.
This is going to end up being a retake situation here where Jonah P has this ult to be able to play with. So there has to be an extra layer here for 100 Thieves. Do you want to try to play aggressive in a spot and dodge that? Do you want to try to play a mid lurk? Like, what is the extra layer here? Because if you all just stand on site, you are all getting stunned up.
It's going to be catching him. I mean, Cryo's in a bit of a one and done there. Snakebite to defend him. Satchel through. It is so damn explosive. And everybody is accounted for. Only the main players left to really deal with and dispel away from the side. Icy. What an incredible opener from him. Slingshotted himself straight into the site.
The counter there from 100 Thieves in the post plan was supposed to be the Thrash. They were thinking, right, well, we get breach ulted, but we throw our Thrash out and everyone's going to be scared. They're not going to go for it. But the Thrash is just one little fish. It can't really get everybody. And so, as the Thrash came out, Icy all over the top of it. And then even catches the free one onto Boostio, who's channeling in his ult.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's locked in.
It's beautiful, the way that G2 are playing. And that player, the X factor for G2, a player that we haven't really seen those big performances until the playoffs. Icy is stepping up again, 14 and 5. Finding impact with the operator, which he doesn't use very often. I think he's only got about 2% playtime with the op. Around that, which is really low for like a star duelist player. But we have heard tales told of what he's been able to do in scrims, and up until these last few matches, they were just tall tales.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're seeing it in reality.
It's whispers and rumors of what to expect, honestly. Honestly, I mean, you could say that for both of these teams as well. We've heard the same stuff about Cryo, and he has been, at least in a few series that they played into the playoffs, performing up to a high level. Not right now, though. Not really set up for success when he's in this spot on the Astra. He's kind of, struggling to get involved, I think, as well, when he's relegated to this role.
This is definitely his toughest map to have impact.
Yeah.
He can sometimes come out with insane rounds when he's anchoring B, but if they hit B, he actually has to come out with the insane rounds. But that's a story for a couple of rounds' time. At the moment, they're looking to still try to put some on the board. And this is a lovely ult. Spills all the way down mid.
As long as the C's and an A is narrowly avoided. No one from 100 Thieves actually taking that space.
Yeah, not that Leaf knows that, and he's pretty bold to be able to get back into position here. In theory, those 100 Thieves players could be fairly deep inside the ult, so Leaf's going to be paranoid for a little while.
Full group up called up by 100 Thieves now.
Cover going out.
All hands on deck as they approach this A site. Valen anchoring in the elbow spot. Jonah P. Silent jump spot. Doesn't want to give anything away. Oh. As the wall comes up, the bullets, what is that, zero connection?
Right,
I mean, Boostio still alive.
Yeah, just took one by the look of it.
But it still made no noise.
And Valen gets into a hard anchor position. This is what has been ruining some of 100 Thieves' execs.
And now they send it flying forwards here. Careening with the util. Fault line will delay. Stunting them away. Plants will be sent flying as well with Wingman, but that's going to be denied and delayed. Again, it's almost inevitable at this point. Valen doesn't smoke himself off in the usual spot. Asuna forced to stick to plan himself. Finally with a committal. Satchel round, but no one to play off of this one. It's delayed in the process. There was an attempt there by Boostio, but it's just being picked apart at the seams. And it all unravels in a moment's notice.
That is so nicely done by G2. They've got such a great read on what's happening. The prep. It looked like there was no way that they were going to be able to pull out this kind of performance on map 1. But then throughout Bind and now here on Split, you're seeing all of the hard work that G2 have put in, preparing for this game. And it's the same kind of strengths we saw when they beat Crew.
One enemy remaining.
Getting Valen into that position, denying the plant, and having Valen be unexpected on site. These are all building up on top of each other to result in G2 running away with this half.
Looking to make it nice and pretty. An 8-4 finish, but 100 Thieves. I don't want to call it desperation just yet. Anything could happen. They do need this round win.
This is one of the few rounds where we've seen Cryo playing away from the rest of the squad. He's not gone for a lurk play like this basically the entire time. Round 12, first one where he brings it out. We know that G2 were aware of it early, but have they lost that because of the conditioning of 100 Thieves going for 5-person hits?
Still, it's only Leaf who's seeking to gather a bit of that information. Try and ward them away with a few bullets.
They're thinking that this mid take is still a fake because 100 Thieves have not actually gone into mid with bodies this whole half. So Boostio's really trying to change things up here to get the 5th on the board.
Very orchestrated opening. This would then taken Mayo control with only 44 seconds left. It's really playing to this round. This might be the danger zone for 100 Thieves. Got to get a move on, and it has to be quick. But they've got so many players to deal with. I mean, G2, look at them tucked to the corners. They're pivoting.
The fake ult by Valen as well. He ulted, and now 100 Thieves are thinking, okay, maybe the Omen is behind us. Maybe the Omen is gone to B, though. And they're going to end up heading back into this duo of Valen and Jonah P.
Exactly right. Fault line delaying them even further. There's only 18 seconds left in the round. They have to get a move on. Util expended. 12 seconds left. Lit up. Beacons just trying to flood their way into the site. The only chance of a win, but it's being dismantled. G2, a complete fundamental understanding of what 100 Thieves are trying to achieve.
That's amazing. Considering that was the first round that we saw 100 Thieves actually go into mid with heavy presence, the fact that G2 still had the read on it and still managed to win the mind games and come out on top. 5 rounds in a row at the end of the half.
And look at this. This is from Valen earlier. What you were calling out. Yep, the fake ult.
He just cancels it immediately. Yeah, that still gives away the sound cue if anyone was close, but there's no way anyone was able to hear that. And it baited 100 Thieves into coming back into that paranoia and stun combo with the aftershock. It's so good.
The calling has just been sublime, but let's send it down to the desk to hear what they make so far.
Thank you very much, Bren. We're live here from the For All the Riot Games Arena. How are the vibes in here, folks?
Pretty good.
Love to hear it. Hey, I've got to put this back in front of you guys. Let's revise something we looked at earlier in the show.
Maybe take the whole thing with this team?
Dude, we versed G2.
I don't want to be too mean, but we versus G2 tomorrow, we will absolutely not lose that match. They are not good. So we will destroy G2 tomorrow 100%.
And you're okay if we use this footage again?
Please use it.
Okay.
Please use it after I beat them as well. 100% we will destroy them.
And again, and again, and again, and again. 8-4 half here, G2. Gang, looking pretty dominant so far on Split.
Yeah, I mean, G2 have had a great start to this map. I think the calling in particular from VALORANT has just continued to be sublime from that first map. The way they're playing this defensive side has really set them up to continue this upset run that they've been on thus far.
I mean, I said it in the pregame. I think they're just going to run a cryo all half with breach fade, and good luck, I guess.
That's the scary part. We actually saw 100 Thieves find some success hitting that B site, right? But VALORANT was more than happy to play off of it. And then Jonah P has like a rolling thunder. They had this sick retake util just to get back in there.
But 100 Thieves have really proved to be strong at coming back into these games. They're a very experienced squad, and Boostio's got to back up his words. He has been talking mad trash thus far, and this is his chance to prove it. Really, there's so much on the line in this game. The winner of this second half has a massive advantage into the finals, 2 bans, and a real chance to get that advantage heading into Shanghai.
How do you protect Cryo from being run up on this half?
Shoot them. Just bring bang.
So group up with Cryo, right? Play in that B main area, maybe try and fight for it.
The biggest reason they made the comp change is they saw a weakness in 100 Thieves' defense side, and they're looking to abuse it. So I think Boostio is smart enough to realize that.
Loved it. All right, love that. Love to hear it. All right, we're going to head back to our casters out for the second half of Split. It is a crucial point in the game, so let's head over.
Vanity, IGL, and the rest of his team, just shoot him.
I mean, that's my IGL right there. That's my IGL. That's what you want to hear.
But also that is so important to take a look at how B is defended, because that has been a weakness for 100 Thieves and one they need to be reinforcing. But G2 are headed to the opposite side of the map to start us out on the pistol round.
Just that, I've got my own concerns as well, just on 100 Thieves' performance so far. This entire series, defensive halves, yet to win a retake.
Yeah,
that's going to be put to the test. I mean, there's no map better for it, I think, than Split. It's going to test your ability to fight on the retake. A tough one, though. Still sending it flying forwards here is G2. I have access to this one. Boostio, aware of his position. It's going to be plucked out of position, just onto that elbow angle. Exchange of the guns as well, really putting a stop to 100 Thieves from having any chance of trying to flood back into this one. What is their plan?
I mean, Jonah P still has 2 flashes and an aftershock here. I don't know what his game plan is to get value out of that in the post ban. First step, stop them coming out of screens.
Yeah, at least a nade just to cut off that close corner angle that there could have been a player holding. It's a double call and a face up here by G2, but backing away now is Icy. Still with that smoke to divide and conquer portions of the map, and an essential pistol round. It needs to go the way of 100 Thieves, but only 2 to stand and 2 to make it possible. EU circumventing all of this one, but with time ticking already, it spells defeat out for them. G2, a pistol round win.
Looking great to win this series. They're in the driver's seat for sure. Our first Ascension team to make global event. And we thought they were out of it after map 1. I mean, obviously the desk was talking about Boostio talking trash, but obviously that's not to clown on Boostio. I think it's just to also showcase, if you had asked any of us, you saw it with all of our predictions as well. Everybody here predicted 100 Thieves to win the game. They looked like the better team coming out. And G2, this resurgence has happened so late on.
Just evolution of this G2 squad, honestly. I don't really know what to, who to hold accountable, I guess, for it, right? Is it VALORANT with the calling? I think there's probably some part of it, the support staff, the whole team.
I think they've also been a squad that likes to turn up ever since they went to that last international event and flopped out after winning in North America. They've been a team that steps up when it matters. They've been like big game players.
Yeah.
Right there.
Exactly what you want, but there's a time to come alive, and it might be now for Boostio. Just the 2 before he's eventually dropped. A lot of space gained here for Leaf. He's looking to try and cut up these angles. With the damage done to Asuna. Gonna give this one up for now. Plant tapped. No response though from 100 Thieves. The paranoia still being held by VALORANT. As soon as 100 Thieves make the first signs of life, right there.
Cover going
Sending out the waves of the util. Still no casualties, but again, it's going to have to be miracle shots. Is Asuna going to be that miracle maker? Not quite.
Enemy remaining. 3 down.
The scene's going to be fading to black here. EU, no chance. Just with the Bucky in his hand, he's even having to resort to the sidearm.
And so 10-4, 6 rounds down. 100 Thieves are going to find themselves. But it looked like they were primed after map 1 to be able to get themselves into our grand finals. 100
Barely got there.
Yeah, EU just being able to get that. This is going to be a long road back if they want any chance of being able to recover this one. Otherwise, G2 are looking like, even with leaving Bind in the pool, they've got that quality now.
I mean, it's masterful adaptations, I gotta say, beginning to end. I think they've come into this with pretty clear game plans, don't get me wrong. Like Ascent, they got washed, right? But onto Bind especially, the ideas they were throwing into the mix, throwing 100 Thieves for a loop, I think. And now, look at it split.
Yeah, now we get to see 100 Thieves on a rifle round, and then it's not Cryo anchoring B. So G2 are going into a B split, trying to put pressure on Cryo. He's not here.
A lot of noise and util thrown out, though. Not really hiding the fact, are they? Banks just wants to take the fight. Into these angles as well, just dodging this util. I know Trent is locked up into the corner. Eventually dealt with. Asuna still here. He's got to dodge and duck. All around, this one tiptoeing. The available util that's sent flying. G2 do get the 1 kill, but it's still just 2 of them left alive.
I think that's a fantastic read. It's the secondary setup that 100 Thieves go for, where Cryo goes and anchors over towards A. It's not their standard setup, but it's a good one for throwing teams for a loop.
Last player standing.
Alan just making a call there for a bit of a contact play.
And this one, not even really going to be that great of a bonus round. Leaf gets a final, but 3 rifles saved for 100 Thieves, and they get a very important 5th on the board.
Yeah.
The more they can mix up how their defense looks, the more difficult it's going to be for Valorant to cook up ideas of how to attack that weakness in the game. Because I do completely agree with the analysis about this, that Cryo hardcore anchor defense on B is the weakness. But if they're not playing that, and you look at the minimap again, they're not playing it again, it's Cryo over towards A again, Valorant's going to have to change the game plan.
We'll see how quickly this really goes for G2. Not quite privy to these fast takes, but at least for Rap with the phone line to set them up. They have control of it. Bit of map control.
Asuna goes into B main. I think he picked up the ult orb there as well, and you see Leaf in that lurk position too. So as G2 pump the brakes, 100 Thieves will often try to cook up a re-clear strategy. We didn't really see them on Bind. They looked hesitant to go for those kind of things that have been working so well for them.
The Z. Damaged and broken. Cryo anchoring 100 Thieves, flooding their way back into this one. Bang! Who's left on the tether? Bungee jumping up and down from the heaven angle. Surely doable now for 100 Thieves. Gotta think it. 2v1. Lesson though for Leaf is that they don't really know his positioning, but the spike is out into the open.
They're clearing over towards screens. They truly have no clue where he's at.
Now they do.
I have the spike.
Spots it out with a prowler right from behind Asuna. Creeping and crawling, lurking around with the knife out in play. You don't stand a chance there. 10-6, 100 Thieves. If they're going to make this happen, it has to be 1 round at a time.
I am a little cautious about the fact that we don't see 100 Thieves going for those decisive re-clear strats. On Bind, we didn't see them go for defensive set plays. We didn't see them go for re-clears. And here as well, it looked like they had the util in their hands to re-clear ramp and they didn't go for it. But listen, if they're getting the job done and subverting expectations by changing up their defense setups, then fair enough. It's working for them. And now that G2 are on an eco, now Cryo anchors B. So they're just trying to make it as easy as possible for Cryo.
Just going to be sending it straight into these 100 Thieves players, though. Bustio, slight unawareness there, but eventually revealed by the Haunt. Lets it rip now. Knife force scatters and spreads all the way out. Some of the decay damage kicking in. Flurry of bullets, enough to do the job.
G2 keep hitting the strong side of 100 Thieves. Valorant's attack side calling has been excellent on Bind, but here They're not doing enough to work the map before they go into these site hits. That was another one. Of course, just on the eco. But we've got to see them figure out what the defensive setup looks like before they full commit. And I saw...
Got to keep leading it, though.
Yeah.
Got to keep it going. Got to keep it going. We've seen players stop it. Oh, back to the gameplay.
I saw EU doing that with Trent earlier on as well. It's kind of across the field to each other. G2 are taking a tactical timeout here. That's why, you know, EU's feeling good about things. 3 rounds in a row there for 100 Thieves to make this more of an even game. Start to build up the economy, a bit of a cushion for them to work with. But G2 got to start thinking about how to get a read on where the holes are. Yeah. If they've done a lot of preparation into figuring out what the standard setups look like and suddenly 100 Thieves swap it up, how do you identify? What tells are you looking for? I mean, one of them would be that you see the fade utility over towards A. But that's the thing is that's the standard position that EU is going to play in. What really changes it up is whether Cryo is there, and you're not going to know that based on Astra utility. You don't see it before you hit the Astra. It's a difficult one. It's global. G2 are getting close to some big ultimates. Leaf would be able to get his ult online with a plant. Or a kill, of course, but yeah, it's a good one for the post.
Could cook someone up as well, get a little bit fancy with a Nightfall, Valen with an ult.
But this is actually the first round where we see rifles online and 100 Thieves have their standard setup with Cryo solo anchoring B. And the thing that makes this a bit of a potential weakness is that he hard anchors from either like back positions or somewhere close as well.
100 Thieves have been doing a lot of conditioning that they haven't been playing that setup.
And G2 are trying to slow the pace down. This looks like they're trying to get a bit more info to me.
Here.
Prowler comes down. Position of EU pinged out just based on where the Prowler came from.
What do they want to default into? Have the ults. Leaf taking the timing. Players are pretty split right now from G2 in terms of where they're looking to go. I mean,
the first 40 seconds and they haven't taken any map control apart from B main.
Yeah.
It's slow, but it's actually not gathering information.
Jonah P making a long trek back with the spike in his hands. Over towards A, looks like that's where they want to end. They want to try and fake B presence here with a Nightfall.
Face your fear!
Ult as well, maybe they get that connection online. Is it enough to sell it? Thrash, Force. This will be clearing this one all the way out. And really should just sell it now for the hard rotation. And that's what he's trying to do. Lands a shot somehow, somewhere. Snake Bite. Pushing back once more from even being able to take that spot here. Asim with a rocket. Ready to let rip. And fires it straight through. Not able to collect the kill. And wide open, but a taking. Bullet straight to the head.
Leaves under a lot of pressure. He's the one with the spike. He had to retrieve it off Jonah P's dead body.
10 seconds left. Spike's out nowhere, man. And you have to clear up these players here and now. Running away. No time. I mean, it's just realized, isn't it? 100 Thieves. As soon as the call is made, they have no time. EU sprints his way out of there.
You know what the wild thing is? All of this happened because EU got that random headshot onto Jonah P. He wasn't aiming at Jonah. Jonah was behind the wall, but he killed the player with the spike. And so the spike got dropped way behind everybody else. That bought enough time for Asuna to come in with the ultimate. Look at that! That's Jonah! The breach dies there. The breach isn't even on your screen. And the spike gets dropped. That starts an unfortunate series of events.
Still surprisingly so, G2 have got money to spend. Still the investments and, crucially, ults.
And this is the first time we're seeing them shove it into Cryo.
Setting it forward. It's Cryo! He just takes up the position, dictating the direction of the round with that one. I mean, this guy, not to be removed. As soon as a showstopper play fails, it's a cancel call by G2.
Dominating the smoke really early on. And Icy anticipating him to be playing further back or towards default. Just didn't think to predict shot into that. G2 forced to wrap things around. They're trying to give as few kind of notices as possible to their opponents. So they're not even using util to clear these or putting smokes down.
Bang's just holding a snake bite though. As soon as he sees one player, surely lets it rip. Just no punish on the jump spot. Flying forwards here, a bit of vulnerability here to Jonah P. Haunt as well. Doesn't know these players are locked tight, close to the corner again. Asuna.
He's always in hell. Asuna is always in hell.
Have to account for it. Still gets the one. It's covered on the cross. Cryo. He deletes and decimates.
kind of idea that G2 had about how to break this B setup, it's not working in reality. Theory is one thing, but this is now 5 rounds in a row. 100 Thieves have picked up. They've knocked G2 back down to another eco. I'm telling you, Asna is always in that exact same position, and I think Valen knew it. Oh, sorry, Jonah P knew it. He just couldn't win the duel.
Yeah. When Cryo's holding the crosshair as well, I mean, any chance of follow-up from the team?
I think
denied.
The timing has to be perfect there. You have to be sending people through heaven at the same time as B main. It just wasn't there for G2. This is another eco that looks like it's going to be sent into Cryo.
100 Thieves not really worried about the money here. Flying forwards to nade.
The bullet tag.
Yeah, just slowing him down enough for it. Asuna on the high ground.
The second one.
What is going on?
I mean, he got his 2 kills. He got the nade back. And
wide face though. Maybe overzealous in nature here from the 100 Thieves players, but Spike still dropped down. So G2 not going to have easy access to it.
Right there. Right there.
Look at this crossfire.
Weaving
in and out there, just trying to not make it too damn easy. Get the kill here, Leaf.
You do have to be a little cautious because Leaf has his ult.
The 1v2. Drop down though. Should be the high-low setup. He tries to swing to try and take out Bang. Boostio is going to be there to just pump some lead straight back at him. Now he knows the position of both of them. Definite intelligence on display, but only 7 bullets to really do it. He goes for the widest face in the world. I do respect it, but it's 10-10. 100 Thieves are right back in this one.
They brought it back. An 8-4 half. And we were thinking Boostio might have to eat humble pie. Instead, smashes it right back in Valen's face.
Standing.
It's quick on it, Lee. I mean, definitely made a decent go of things here, but at this point that 100 Thieves have set themselves up in, I mean, enough money, they could bankroll a Fortune 500 company. They're not going to be running out of any guns anytime soon. It's essentially going to be full buys from here on out until the tail end of this series.
Asuna and Cryo play together to take B main control at the start of this one. They've inserted Valen. Top of the scoreboard, 20 kills across 20 rounds. Valen's trying his best to get things over the line. But while the aim is working here, the attack side calling hasn't quite been as effective as it was on Bind, where it looked like he was just inside the 100 Thieves comms, basically.
You can really tell we're getting into the untested territory, I suppose, of the map pool for both of these teams.
Yeah, and also the part where theory doesn't work as well as you thought it would.
Yeah.
So you're having to do more of that improving. Now, Valen was hoping here that there would be some kind of aggressive re-clear and he could pick it up, perhaps.
It's really been nothing like it. Still Boostio. He's tucked to the corner.
Do they
Might be some safety here. Has to be pre-fight, surely. No way, no way. Everything dodged and avoid. Not a single shred of utility to hunt him down and pick him out of place. Just as one gets out of there. Bandit behavior. But at least with a Viper spin, maybe a chance. Asuna sends it flying forwards with the rocket. No kill there. What is going on? Huh? Cancels it in the moment. What the hell is occurring? Cryo to respond. 1v2. The pit's still up. Knife is out. Cryo seeking a better angle into all of this here with a pull. It's watched. And Trent will deliver at least. Finally around to the board there. Do not ask me what happened.
I think he must have opened up his settings. That's the only thing that, to me, makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think he must have just fat-fingered his escape key or something in the middle of that moment. But also, I'm a little confused why he didn't try to send the rocket on the players close to him. He double blast packed over to try to go towards the plant. And another situation. Brent, again, there are no retakes here for 100 Thieves. They're winning on the defense side, so, you know, you don't want to complain about it, but...
Stopping the plant from going down in the first place, though, right?
Right, exactly. It's the kind of plant denial stuff. It's stuffing them into the choke point. If G2 are getting into post plants, they are winning in this series. And 100 Thieves are going to take a timeout maybe to remedy that kind of thing. I think this is another good opportunity coming out of the timeout to change up either the pace of what you're doing or the defense setups again, if you're looking at things from the perspective of 100T. If they can try to work some kind of set play in this round, they have a set play that they go for where they util dump A main. They send a horn over the top, mosh pit, and they go super aggro in that area.
And what's odd is though, 100 Thieves haven't been going for as many proactive plays on the defense sides, and G2 have been holding for it.
Exactly. I think they're already respecting the fact that G2 are a slow team that are looking to try to punish. But again, this is again not going to be that aggression on defense. But they're putting both initiators in B heaven, which is a different setup.
Money getting tight here for G2.
This is going to be a pit off the rip from Bang.
It's an unusual position. You don't really see this one too often. And Bang gets dropped
instantly. I mean, that's just got to be spam, I think, right?
You gotta think so. Aston is just trying to dodge. This one tucked! And he's betrayed either by a shoulder or what. I'm not too sure, but tucked out. There was an awareness there from G2, and now they're just gonna be sending it. Boostio, he understands it. He's gonna try and make a play and make it now. Assailed on his position. Can he really push them and ward them back? The IGL
down A.
He's doing his best. There's two really gonna be enough now for them.
Spike planted.
There's opportunities for sure. 100 Thieves. They're not grouped up together here. It's EU and Cryo, and Cryo's still hunting around, but his players, Valen just donates one to him, pops up right into him. Icy did not have the gun but a job, and just like that, it's turned on its head. Leaf left to clutch it all. Damage there, what a shot! And the fadeaway from it, EU with the tap, Leaf in the open! Immaculate positioning!
Boostio's on his feet again, but the score is still tied. And that round absolutely looked like G2 were going to make it to match point. It took heroics from 100 Thieves to get into this spot. Icy kind of gave the game away a little bit. He's hiding.
Punish you.
I mean, I say Icy gave the game away, so did Valen. But that combo up in heaven, allowing them to get into a spot where Leaf had to play a 1v2, it should never have gotten to that point.
Yeah.
A bit of a fumble there from G2, and they're going to take attack timeout. There's going to be nerves in these kind of spots for sure. These are not players who've made history of getting deep into big tournaments like this and being sent to Masters events. This is not your, storied players like we have on Loud or NRG, but those players didn't make it this time. It's the fresh blood up from Ascension. People that have been there in the past, but not often, and not recently for either of these teams.
Yeah, just one-offs. That's a tale, honestly, of both of these orgs, I think, just seeking a bit of redemption with the cores of their rosters. And for 100 Thieves as well, expectations have always been high, but they've never really been able to meet them up until now, this new era of Valorant. Like you said, the young bloods, just fresh players, really. They have been in these spots before, but so long ago that it's never been consistent. And for this G2 core, you think back to it, yes, they made history. They've already made Shanghai. They got over that initial hurdle. But you're going to want to see them take it all the way, honestly. Really show us what they've got up their sleeves. 11-11.
And not just an even round to push things further, one that absolutely destroys the G2 economy. They're coming into this one with 2 hero rifles, a Phantom and a Bulldog. But otherwise, you're expecting that 100 Thieves should be able to convert this one and get up to match point.
It needs hero plays and perfection, I think, in terms of the calls that are being made. Bang. Fault line, it does tag with a stun, but no one from G2 is looking to even sniff in that direction. They are making their way back over towards A.
Looking to try to mess with the way that Boostio's seeing the game here. If they can pull people over towards A,
one and done.
Perhaps they can start to go in the opposite direction. The spike is still outside B.
That's not spotted. Surely got to get out of here. And yes, Nightfall committed. Aftershock on top of it. But an all for an all here. EU also expending one of his own. Full rotations. 100 Thieves seeming scattered on the defensive half, but they have a level of awareness here. Boostio calling, not for the over rotation. They've realized that it's a fake presence. And now Thrash is really going to be putting an end directly to these troubles. It spells it out. With Val entertained, everybody making their way over towards this one. It's desperation. Evident now from G2. And how do you come up with anything when 100 Thieves have full awareness of what you're up to?
30 seconds left.
Running your way through the util, seeking to disrespect it. Again, the anchoring positions at the back of the site, shutting them down with rifles in hand. 100 Thieves, not to be denied, that 12th round on the boards. And even Lee spotted the position, then noted. One more round will do it.
One more round between them and an enormous map V2 advantage. an impossibility for anyone to take Bind away from them, except within the server, as G2 did today. Chances for them to skip the Swiss stage of Shanghai, cement their spot in playoffs if they're able to win this tournament. And what a comeback it has been. Each one of these 3 maps has been so extraordinarily different in the second half. The first 2 maps even, and then one team taking control. And here we go, G2 maybe looking to accelerate a little bit because it's a group up in mid.
No ults to work with, half armor and a multitude of targets. Boostio knows it. He's got the Outlaw in his hands, rifle nearby. But you're right, this is a bit of exploration from G2 down into mid, and this is the entirety of the series being distilled and defined down to one moment. Bang. Looks like he wants to make a go of things here. Surely you don't just push up right past them! The TPM cuts them away and out of the picture! A pretty one painted by this 100 Thieves squad. And they've just left it to Leaf and Valen. 55 seconds on the mark. Boostio's going wandering, exploring out into the open. Might just spot these players falling. And just like that, 100 Thieves cement their spot in the grand finals of our first split playoffs.
Bind taken away from them, their home territory betraying them, and a comeback required from an 8-4 half there on Split. But throughout it all, that confidence still there, and the knowledge that they had what it takes to get it across the line. They're going to have a huge advantage in the grand finals. And for G2, still opportunities to take that #1 seed, but it is only going to get more difficult if indeed this rematch occurs. And you can't say that the G2 players didn't surprise us here. They absolutely did. But 100 Thieves showcasing that even if they lose on Bind, they can still win series. Their map pool, those concerns dismissed, I think, today to some degree.
To some degree. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, they got stuff to work on. I'm sure they're going to be walking away from this thinking the exact same thing. It was only 13-11, you know, they just barely got it over the line to win it, but win it they did. And like I said, I mean, cemented that spot in the grand finals. For this squad, for this team, the org, there's so much history and expectation that's placed on their shoulders for these players to perform, and now finally, you've seen it come alive at the right time.
And what an addition this duo of Boostio and Zix has been. I think Boostio's done such a great job with countering some of Valen's attempts there, especially in the final half that we watched, messing with the antes and the expectations of how he was going to run the defense side and sending G2 for a loop.
I mean, this was a joy to watch in terms of that battle of the IGLs.
Yeah,
it really was. The adaptations, adjustments, the anti-strats, it was all coming out from either side.
And EU continues to have extremely good performances against his old rivals from his time in Tier 2. Now coming to the forefront, and not just being in Tier 1 alongside rookies like IC, but actually being at the top of Tier 1, being representatives of Americas in Shanghai, and for 100 Thieves having a chance to be that #1 seed and getting those 3 championship points. They've set themselves up pretty for that prize the next time we see them on stage.
They put in the work, it shows, and now they've earned, you know, some of the rewards, of course. There's a little bit more to go for them. Of course, tournament, plenty more to happen. But let's send it down to Vansily. He's down on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, Brent and Sideshow. Everybody, let's give it up to EU! EU, congratulations, man. Big victory. You've come here a long way, right? You come from challengers where unfortunately you skipped, you couldn't make it to partnership. Now you've joined 100 Thieves. You had a rocky start in the group stages, but here you are standing today, going to Shanghai and also making it to the grand finals of the mid-season playoffs. You have to be proud of this season. So talk me through about this season so far.
I mean, I keep talking about it. We've been putting in hard work day after day. We're super focused on the process. We honestly don't care about the result. We practice super hard. We try to fix our mistakes, and then now it's taking us here. So we're at the grand finals.
At least the results are good so far, right? But at least the results were labored going into G2 today. I'm not going to talk about Ascent because that was a schlacking for you guys, so let's just keep that aside. But Bind, you guys were basically coined the super team of Bind, but you know, you lost that map against G2. A lot of teams couldn't even make it double digits. So what did G2 bring today to the table that really surprised you on that map of Bind?
I'm not gonna lie, I mean, after the first map, we kind of took our foot off the gas. You know, we're playing for like the grand finals, but we qualified to Shanghai already. We definitely still really want to win, but you know, after winning the first map 13-5 and going on to our permanent win of Bind, I can 100% assure you we took our foot off the gas. We started coming back at the end of Split here. You know, you saw us get back into it, but it's all good.
That's exactly it. Split. It was a different composition that came out as well. No Sentinels coming out for G2. Was that also something that surprised you? Because yes, you let the foot off the pedal, but you're also playing against something different this time around. So how did you have to bounce back? Because you had to fight really hard for that victory.
Yeah, we thought they were going to run the Cypher with the Breach, considering that the Breach stun is like, I mean, it's pretty meta if you have a camera to stun off of and you have the setup so people can't lurk out A. They ran the Fade, so a lot of their exec power was pretty hard. We didn't expect it coming into the map, so it almost caught us off guard. We managed to claw it back in the end, though.
Awesome. And final question for you. You know, yesterday we had Cryocells having a chance to talk to Dendride over on the LATAM broadcast saying, you know, like, because he's standing up on a chair, he's yelling, he's also supporting the team as well, saying, guys, let's go. And that's unheard of Cryo. And he mentioned that it was a lot about Boostio coming in as an IGL for the team. What does that mean for you as well? Because you were under the guidance of a great IGL in John Cutie over at M80. Now you have Boostio. What's the difference there, and how do you feel in the team with Boostio?
Yeah, I mean, Boostio and John QT share like similarities. They're both amazing callers in the game. I think one thing that Boosty does that no other IGL in this game can do is like this energy that he brings. This guy just makes everyone around him confident. He puts everybody at ease. I mean, it's pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. Boosty's probably like the most valuable player in all of Valorant, so.
Well, EU, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations once again, and hopefully those vibes from Boostio will carry you over to the Grand Finals victory. But one more time, let's give it up for EU, everybody. One more series coming up here after the break. It's going to be Crew versus Leviathan for the last spot of Masters Shanghai.
Look what I've just made. The perfect pearl.
Not too bad, but check this out.
Whoa, a true Venus clam.
Red Bull gives you wings.
ready to fight.